may begin your 1 minute preparation.
This time you may begin.
The meeting room will come to order. We are now holding a meeting of the Cisne FFA chapter. Madam Vice President, are all officers at their stations?
I shall call the roll of officers, determine if they are at their stations, and report back to you, Mr. President. The Sentinel.
Stationed by the door.
Your duties there?
Through this door pass many friends of the FFA. It is my duty to see that the door is open to our friends at all times, and that they are welcome. I care for the meeting room and paraphernalia. I strive to keep the room comfortable and assist the President in maintaining order.
The reporter.
The reporter is stationed by the flag.
Why by the flag?
As the flag covers the United States of America, so I strive to inform the people in order that every man, woman, and child may know that the FFA is a national organization that reaches from the state of Alaska to the Virgin Islands and from the state of Maine to Hawaii.
The Treasurer.
Stationed at the emblem of Washington.
Your duties there?
I keep a record of receipts and disbursements just as Washington kept his farm accounts, carefully and accurately. I encourage thrift among members and I strive to build up our financial standings through savings and investments. George Washington was better able to serve his country because he was financially independent.
The Secretary.
Stationed by the ear of corn.
Your duties there?
I keep an accurate record of all meetings and correspond with other secretaries wherever corn is grown and FFA members meet.
The Advisor.
Here by the owl.
Why stationed by the owl?
The owl is a time-honored emblem of knowledge and wisdom. Being older than the rest of you, I am asked to advise you from time to time as a need arises. I hope that my advice will always be based on true knowledge and ripened with wisdom. Madam Vice President, why do you keep a plow at your station?
The plow is a symbol of labor and tillage of the soil. Without labor, neither knowledge nor wisdom can accomplish much. My duties require me to assist at all times in directing the work of our organization. I preside over meetings in the absence of our president, whose place is beneath the rising sun.
Why is the President so stationed?
The rising sun is a token of a new era in agriculture. If we will follow the leadership of our president, we shall be led out of the darkness of selfishness and into the glorious sunlight of brotherhood and cooperation. Mr. President, all officers are at their stations.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. The Secretary will call the roll of members.
There are 7 members and numerous guests present, Mr. President.
Thank you. FFA members, why are we here?
To practice brotherhood, honor agricultural opportunities and responsibilities, and develop those qualities of leadership which an FFA membership possess.
May we accomplish our purposes. I now declare this meeting of the Cisne FFA chapter duly open for the transaction of business, or attention to any matters which may properly be presented.
Mr. President.
Go get Ashley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Cisne FFA chapter host a petting zoo for the local grade school students on Friday, May 12, 2023 at the County Fairgrounds.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Ashley and seconded by Cadence that the Cisne FFA chapter host a petting zoo for the local grade school students on Friday, May 12, 2023 at the County Fairgrounds. Now, Ashley, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fellow floor members, I think this is a wonderful idea for our chapter to go out and spend some time with the younger kids that will soon be in our FFA. This will give them a chance to see what FFA is all about. Because I know when I was a little kid and I got to see the big kids doing fun stuff, it made me want to do what they were doing. So for them to see us go out there and do that, they will want to join FFA. Therefore, I urge you all to vote yes.
Mr. President.
Go get Claire.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fellow floor members, I think this is a bad idea because with only having 2 weeks of school left, we would not have enough time to plan who would be going and who would be taking their animals to this petting zoo. So therefore, I urge your no vote.
Mr.
President.
Go get Addison.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think this is a bad idea because we'd have to get the Fair Board's approval, and they just had a meeting last week, so that would not help us, and it really inconvenienced them have to get back together and figure out if they would allow us to do this at the fairgrounds. Also, the Kitty College is having one next week, so that would not be good for us to go do 2 of them and take your animals, especially if they're show animals, to 2 different places because you don't want them to catch something and get sick. Therefore, I urge a no vote.
Mr. President.
Go get Katie.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fellow floor members, I think this is a great idea. Our elementary schools are already having their fun day coming up, and this would be a great addition and make it a lot more fun for them to really end off the school year on a good note. So I urge a yes vote.
Mr. President.
Go get Noah.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fellow floor members, this is an amazing idea because we have the animals around us as a community, and we have a ton of people that take responsibility as a community to go to the fairgrounds and show those animals off. Therefore, I urge yes vote.
Mr. President.
Go get Brooklyn.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think this is a very good idea because we just hosted a petting zoo at our school for FFA week, and so we would have people to participate in this. And when we did it at our school, only 4th graders could attend, but if we do it at the fairgrounds, then all of the students can attend because the 4th graders loved it so much. So therefore, I urge your yes vote.
Mr. President.
Go get Ashley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fellow floor members, I still think this is a phenomenal idea because thinking about the FFA creed, the first sentence is, I believe in the future of agriculture with a faith born not of words but of deeds. These are the deeds that they are talking about. These are what we need to go out and better our community. As this later says, to exert an influence in my family and community, this would go out and make the community better. Therefore, I urge a yes vote.
Mr. President.
Go get Claire.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fellow floor members, I still think this is a bad idea because the 4-H members already take up a lot of the animal barn, so we would not have room to store these animals where we would need them. So therefore, I urge your no vote.
Mr. President.
Go get Addison.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fellow floor members, I still think this is a bad idea because a lot of us can't drive, and getting to the fairgrounds pulling a trailer could be dangerous for us or even the animals if we don't know how to do that properly. That just seems very like a struggle for our chapter to be able to go and do that. And we have a lot of liabilities, and I don't know if the school could cover our liabilities, so that would be a problem. Therefore, I urge a no vote.
Mr. President.
Go get Katie.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fellow floor members, I still think this is a great idea. The amount of learning opportunities it would give the elementary schools learning about the animals, and it would give us high schoolers to have to do even more research on our animals to teach the elementary schoolers would be amazing for us. So I urge a yes vote.
Mr. President.
Go get Noah.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think that this is an amazing idea because as a smaller community, we could contribute more to a bigger community and outlast or outpower bigger communities such as Mount Vernon around us, because although they have a bunch of more people than us, we have a much more reliable community that will contribute more than they will ever will. Therefore, I urge yes vote.
Mr. President.
Go get Brooklyn.
Thank you, Mr. President. I still think this is a great idea because by hosting a petting zoo, the kids would actually be able to come in and pet the animals. But if people are showing their animals, sometimes they don't want their kids to be touching their animals because it can spread diseases and sicknesses. So therefore, I urge your yes vote.
Mr. President.
Go get Claire.
I move to postpone this matter indefinitely.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Claire and seconded by Cadence to postpone this matter indefinitely. Go get Claire. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fellow floor members, I think postponing this matter indefinitely is a good idea because school is coming to an end and we do not have enough time to plan this. So therefore, I urge your yes vote.
Mr. President.
Go get Ashley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think this postponement indefinitely is a bad idea because this only betters everybody involved. It gives us opportunities to help teach little kids, and it gives the kids opportunities an introduction to agriculture to see if maybe that's what they want to do with their life. Therefore, I urge a no vote.
Mr. President.
Go get Addison.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think this is a great idea to postpone this indefinitely because we do not have the time, nor with everyone else's trips going on, people are gone and the ones with the animals are going on those trips. We wouldn't have time to do this and everything else with the school year before school is out. And everybody's graduating this week, which takes away some of our people with animals. Therefore, I urge a yes vote.
Mr. President.
Go get Katie.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fellow floor members, I think this is a terrible idea because holding this petting zoo can have like different kids from different schools like Fairfield and Cisne, and they can meet more kids their age and meet new friends and also get to see the animals. So I urge a no vote.
Mr. President.
Go get Brooklyn.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think this is a horrible idea to postpone this indefinitely because it would only be doing good for our community. We have an amazing alumni who would love to participate and help with us. So therefore, I urge your no vote.
Seeing that there is no further debate, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of postponing this matter indefinitely say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
The noes have it.
Division.
Division has been called. We will now take a standing vote. All those in favor of postponing this matter indefinitely, please rise. You may be seated. All opposed, please rise. You may be seated. With 2 in favor and 4 opposed, motion fails. We will not postpone this matter indefinitely. Is there any further debate on the main motion?
Mr. President,
Go get Ashley.
thank you, Mr. President. I move to refer this to a committee of 5 appointed by the chair to report back at our next regularly scheduled meeting.
Second.
It has been moved by Ashley and seconded by Candace to refer this to a committee of 5 appointed by the chair to report back at the next regularly scheduled meeting. Okay, Ashley, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think referring this to a group of 5 would be a really good idea because there are 5 grades in our elementary school, so this would give each of them an opportunity to go out to each class and talk to the teachers, see how many students are actually in that class, and if they would be wanting to do it. Therefore, I urge a yes vote.
Mr. President.
No, get Noah.
Thank you, Mr. President. With this referment, we will have plenty of time to schedule and talk to other members around us with whether or not they want to stick with this idea or if they want to fail this idea. Therefore, I urge yes vote.
Mr. President.
No, get Claire.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fellow full members, I think this is a bad idea because referring this to a committee would just take up more time, and we do not have the time to do this before school is out. So therefore, I urge your no vote.
Mr. President.
No, get Addison.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think that the referral would need more people because Johnsonville has a pre-K and then K through 4, and Mount Airy has K through 4, which 5 people would not be able to go talk to each school and still have enough time to plan all this. So I do not think that's a good idea. Therefore, I urge a no vote.
Mr. President,
No, get Cadence.
thank you, Mr. President. Fellow floor members, I think this is a great idea. By appointing these people by the chair, it forces them to take leadership and responsibility of putting it together, and it gives them great opportunities. So I urge a yes vote.
Mr. President,
No, get Brooklyn.
thank you, Mr. President. I call for a 5-minute recess.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Brooklyn and seconded by Ashley to call for a 5-minute recess. Are there any amendments? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of taking a 5-minute recess say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
The noes have it, motion fails. We will not take a 5-minute recess. Is there any further debate on referring this to a committee?
Mr. President.
No, get Brooklyn.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think that referring this to a committee is a very good idea because it would give us a chance to go out and see if people would even want to do this and how we would transport all of our animals up there and how we would transport our kids because they have fun days coming up and so we don't know what days they would be available. So therefore, I urge your
Seeing that there is no further debate, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of referring this to a committee of 5 appointed by the chair to report back to the next regularly scheduled meeting say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
The ayes have it, motion passes. We will refer this to a committee of 5. Madam Secretary, do you have a record of any further business which should now be transacted?
I have none, Mr. President.
Does any member know of any new or unfinished business which should properly come before this meeting? We are about to adjourn this meeting of the Cisne FFA chapter. As we mingle with others, let's be diligent in labor, just in our dealings, courteous to everyone, and above all, honest and fair in the game of life. Fellow members and guests, join me as we salute our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I now declare this meeting adjourned.
All right, Mr. President, we will start with your questions. One of the privileges of the president is the proper use of the gavel. A single tap of the gavel can represent several actions. Please name one of these actions.
To sit down.
Okay. What is the purpose of a main motion?
To introduce new business before the assembly.
All right, thank you. Madam Vice President, what is the major difference between postpone definitely and postpone indefinitely?
Postpone definitely schedules it to the next regular meeting, and postpone indefinitely kills it for that meeting. You cannot talk about it anymore.
Okay. Is the motion to postpone indefinitely debatable or amendable?
It is debatable but not amendable.
Thank you. Madam Sentinel, most organizations other than the FFA do not have a sentinel. What are your responsibilities as a sentinel?
To keep the room comfortable and assist the president maintaining order.
Okay. Who has the right to be the first to debate a motion?
The person who made the motion.
All right, thank you. Mr. Treasurer, during a session, a member calls for a division of assembly. What should the chair do if it was clear that the assembly voted in an obvious majority?
Take a standing vote.
Okay. If a chair does allow for a division of assembly vote, how must that vote be taken?
Can you repeat the question?
If a chair does allow for a division of assembly vote, how must that vote be taken?
By standing.
Okay, thank you. Madam Secretary, your required motion was to recess. Please give 2 reasons for needing a recess.
To talk informally and to form a forum.
Okay. How can a motion to recess be amended?
By extending or shortening the time.
All right, thank you. Madam Reporter, every officer is important to the success of the FFA chapter. What do you feel are the major responsibilities as the reporter for your FFA chapter?
Putting out a newsletter and sending in your voice recordings to the radio.
Okay. Given the 3 ranked motions that were required today, postpone indefinitely, recess, and refer to a committee, put these 3 motions in order of precedence from highest to lowest.
Recess, commit or refer, postpone indefinitely.
Thank you. Madam Advisor, give 2 ways that members can become part of a committee.
They can be appointed by the chair or volunteer.
Okay. Name 2 things that should be included in a motion to refer to a committee.
The amount of members in the committee and their power to act.
All right. Thank you very much. You guys can leave your cards at your spots, and that is all we've got.